episode 3 of the time travel series. So if I had a time machine and I could go back 25 years to when I started my first online business, what are the key learnings, the key lessons? What did I get right that allowed me to have this crazy 25-year career? And there were a number of key lessons. One of them was that, and then lesson number 3 here, that one of the things that I got right, and believe me, there's plenty of things I got wrong, but there's a few things I got right, and it was that marketing is critical. A lot of people, they think if you create a great product and you put it out there, then it's going to sell itself. You just put up a buy button and people are going to buy from you. And that is not the case. You might get 1 or 2 people, but you're not going to build a business. So I understood this very, very quickly because I started publishing. And I started publishing my newsletter about the stock market. And the crazy thing is when I started out, I wasn't even trying to build a business. I was just trying to build a resume so I could go have a resume to get into grad school. It's crazy. But then it started to build momentum and I realized I had the makings of a business. But I also realized if I was just sitting there publishing my newsletter out into space, it just wasn't doing me any good. And I realized I had to get good at marketing. Now, the interesting thing was there was no training about online marketing in 1996. It really didn't exist. But I did find this, what they call direct marketing. And I realized that there was this long history of direct marketing, which means marketing through either newspaper ads or through direct mail. Those are the 2 primary forms. And they would have either use direct mail or an ad in a newspaper, magazine, and then they would draw in interest. They would send out some information, generally a sales letter, and then they would make the sale that way. It's what they call 2-step marketing. The 2 steps is first you get people to raise their hand that they're interested, then you put a piece of marketing, generally in the form of a sales letter, generally in the form of a long form sales letter, what we call a long form sales letter, in front of them and ask for the order. And so this 2-step direct marketing had been going on for decades and decades before I started out in 1996. It was all about, none of it was about online marketing, none of it was about the internet. But somehow I just intuitively realized that what I was doing online in trying to build my business was the same that Capos was doing, that dozens of others were doing back in the day, and frankly still do to this day. And so I started studying direct marketing. I started taking that and applying it online. And that gave me a huge leg up over all these other folks that were just trying to use Hope Marketing. So the thing is when I started out, I had no marketing experience. I had no sales experience. I'd never sold anything. If you gave me a list of every possible profession out there, I would have thought sales and marketing would have been like the ones that I was least inclined to do. But I realized that if I was going to have a business, I needed to be in the marketing business. So I went to school and I studied and I kept studying. And then I started testing. Eventually my business became, I was publishing via email. It got to be, after 3 or 4 years, 400 or 500 times per year. Because remember, I was following the stock market. I was publishing about the stock market. So that gave me all kinds of opportunity to test subject lines, to test copy, to test my marketing. And so I just got good through trial and error. And just always knowing that I had to continue to get better at my marketing and my copy and studying it. So no matter what business you're in, and I know a lot of the folks following me, they're just like, I just really want to help people. I want to teach people this. I want to save the world. And that's great. But you have to become a marketer. You have to study marketing. That's just the rule of the game. It's something that you can't outsource. I mean, you can outsource parts of it, but you at least have to be able to judge what is good marketing and what is good copy and what's going to resonate with your market. It's pretty interesting. I got, after last week, I had a comment come in from Justin Hunt, and he said, Jeff, we're not convinced. Well, I was, but my business partner says, and I paraphrase, why fluff around with marketing to people who can't buy yet? They are much more likely to buy after listening from our guest podcast session if the product is there with a buy button than 2 weeks later when the gates open. He's pretty smart. I couldn't help but see his point. What do you think? I think in general, your partner's wrong. I mean, there are some sales that, there are some things that can be sold, especially low priced things that can be sold off of just putting up a buy button or just having a spectacular sales letter. But that two-step process that I learned from those direct marketers 25 years ago, where first you get them to raise their hand. And these days, it's generally you get them to raise their hand by either joining your email list or by following you in social in some way, saying, yes, send me more information, getting them to opt in one form or another, getting them to opt in first, and then follow up with them. Whether you do a full launch process, whether you take 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. But you need to have a follow-up marketing process. And so you need to do that two-step marketing process. I know this is really old school sounding. I learned about it 25 years ago, but there's a reason I'm here where I'm at. There's a reason for my success. There's a reason that I've coached tens of thousands of people to, crazy amounts of success. And it's because of those lessons learned all the way back when I was studying direct marketing. So just putting up a buy button, generally not the best course of action. You need a marketing campaign. In my world, we call it a launch. So I'm Jeff Walker. Wherever you're watching this, scroll down, leave a comment for me, and let's go get them this week.